Good morning. Today on Fish Head, we're up in the Deer River area and it's early ice. So we hoofed it out this morning. We left the machines on shore. It's not worth taking the chance. We've got 3 or 4 inches of ice, but you know what? It's one of them situations where we're plenty safe. Usually the fish bite pretty well at this time of year too. We're gonna chase some panfish today. We're gonna show you exactly how you can come out and catch them next time you get on the water. So stay tuned for Fish Head. Got it, I think. Got him. That's a great example right there of having to work and work and work a fish, because I'll tell you, this guy here, he started out on the bottom and I just kept him coming up and up and up. That's a dandy gill. But we're sitting out here over about 26 feet of water, and that fish, he started down on the bottom and I kept coming up and up and up, and finally got him to make that final commitment. And I think a lot of it is just plain and simple what you're using and getting them to keep coming. And when they're really finicky like this, what I really try to do is go to something that is very, very natural looking. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm using here, but I got to get it out of his mouth first. This is a Lindy toad, and I'm using this because these fish are down there eating larvae, and they're eating different bugs, and I assume this fish was eating down on the bottom, and that's why he started down on the bottom. And I just got him to keep coming up. But you can see what I'm using here. That's a Lindy toad, and I'm just putting a couple wax worms on it, and I'm just jiggling this thing around. And when I see a fish, I just keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up. And if he doesn't bite, let me give you a tip. Go back down below him, because I got this fish to turn and go back down, and then I came right back up, and that got him hot. You know what? We were doing this with walleyes earlier this year as well. So keep thinking about that, up and down, and what you're gonna find out is you'll get a fish chasing, he'll get hot, and you'll end up getting him to bite it. That's a great way to start our day right there. That's great. That's just a great example of just making a change. And I'm going to show you what I did here. I have worked this fish, well, this little pile of fish, and that's not a big crappie. We're going to let him go, but I want to show you something, because now I know what I got to do different with these fish. That's a little guy. We'll let him go. But look at the jig. I switched from that toad and a waxworm over to the new ice. Let's let that guy get back and grow up. But see that little jig? That thing comes with 4 plastic tails and 2 jigs. So what it allows you to do is make one purchase. You can go out and fish all day long. Now, in general, crappies just love pink. So it's the first one I grabbed to drop down after I sat there and worked and worked and worked. Couldn't get that fish to bite. But here's the thing. The bluegills I got earlier, I was getting with that. That's a toad with a couple waxworms. And I fished and fished and fished. And you know, I'm not sure. I could tell you that maybe I could have just put on a different color toad. There's no way to know for sure. But what I do know is I gave them something different after sitting here for a long time, and they bit right away. So keep that in mind. Keep making changes, even if it's just a simple color change or a different jig. But have a couple rods rigged up, ready to go, and you'll catch more fish. Let's get back down and see if we can get something a little bit bigger. I think this one's a little bit better fish. Oh yeah, look at him. That's a good crappie right there. That's a dandy crappie for the dinner table, and you put him with some of these bluegills we've been getting today, and That'll be great. You know, you just got to keep picking through them small fish though. You know, I've gotten some of these smaller crappies today and they're a ball to catch. You know, they're great to get the kids out on, but that's what I'm targeting right there. That's the perfect dinner fish. Just keep working different baits. You know, today I've had to drop down toads. I've had to drop down what's-it jigs. Keep going through them and you'll get some decent fish like this one. You know, all I did here is I picked up and moved, and I didn't move far. Yeah, another one of them little crappies. We're on a bunch of these little ones, but you know, as you keep working, you'll find more and more of them, and now that's back on the live bait. We'll let that guy go. But all we're doing here locationally is we're working the edge of a hole. Before I was over here just a little bit deeper. I've worked up here, now I'm in about 24 feet of water, okay? But what we're doing is we're just working the perimeter of the hole. And you can see between these islands, this island and the mainland here, there's gonna be a little bit of a filter that's gonna allow for the fish to go in and out of that next area of the lake. And it's providing just a little bit of a channel of deep water that cuts back in there. And there's fish all over this. And what we're doing is once we identified the edge of the hole and the depth, I'm just following that along this contour line, and that's gonna allow you to keep catching fish. You know, the other thing too is the bluegills and crappies are mixed together at this time of year. So when I'm walking along fishing, I'm carrying a couple different presentations like we were talking about earlier, but I'm also keeping in mind that one of those presentations is gonna be for bluegills, one of them for crappies, and then a lot of times they'll interchange like they are so far today. But keep that in mind too. You know, one maybe a little bit bigger presentation like that what's-it, and then one little smaller presentation like the toad. There are a ton of fish down here. I'm gonna get back down there and try to catch another one. Get out of there. Oh yeah. That's a good way to wrap up the day right there. You know, this has been one of those days where it's been downright nasty out here. The wind's blown pretty hard and it's getting colder and colder as we've gone. Definitely feel this front coming through. And one of the things I'll tell you that was probably the biggest key to catching these fish today was I only got one fish per hole. As much as I sat on a spot and I'd catch a fish, I'd see more of them on the graph. They just wouldn't bite. There was one biter in each spot, and you know, we went through some little fish. We worked our way through those and we just kept picking away at it and drilling holes. And here at the end of the day, we got a nice bucket full of fish for a meal. Hey, for more current and up-to-date information, check back with us next week. We'll have it for you here on Fish Ed.